Okay, so here's an illustration that, again, looks fairly good from a distance, from kind of a normal view. The yolk looks nice, it's well done. If we take a look at the contours of the egg white, we do notice that it's a little bit irregular, not very smooth like an egg white would be. So if we start to zoom in and take a look at the edge, the problem becomes a bit more apparent. It's almost got this. It's got this sort of wave pattern. It almost looks to me, almost like the blades on a circular saw blade or the teeth on a circular saw blade. So this is not something that I think is too realistic. So let's take a look at what's going on here. I'm in my direct selection tool, and if I click on this shape, I see that what's going on here is that there are anchor points somewhere, but I'm not seeing them. What I'm seeing are the handles that have been dragged out from an anchor point, and if I click on any one of these handles, let me just click on this one, and I rotate that, I see that there's an anchor point underneath it. And that just seems to be the case all the way around. So I'm not exactly sure, why that is. But the reason that the path looks kind of wavy or has a sort of a sawtooth effect is because partially because of the rotation of the handles. The path is going to go in the direction that the handles go. So if the handles are going, like on this one, up and to the right, then the path is going up and to the right. And if on the next anchor point the handles are going up and a little bit more to the right, then the path is going to go up and a little bit more to the right. Another issue that's happening is that the anchor points the handles are dragged out too far. So if they're dragging, if the handles are going all the way to the next anchor point, or they're going beyond it, then that's what's happening. This wave pattern is starting to happen as well. So the path is no longer really kind of a smooth curve, but more of like a wave. So to fix this, we can just drag these, we can drag these handles and rotate them as we're dragging, and just try to kind of iron out this path. Okay, so there's probably too many anchor points on here. I don't think we need this many in order to make a smoothly curving path. It just depends on how much detail that you're going for, how complex the shape is that you're creating. But for an egg yolk, the shape doesn't really need to be all that complex. So we could delete some of these. If I go to the minus key and click on one of these anchor points, it'll just delete it, and that sort of helped to iron out our path right there. So if I zoom out and take a look, already the part that I worked on is starting to look a little bit more natural, and really we can delete some of these anchor points. So the more anchor points you have, the more complex your path is going to be, and the more chance there is that it's not going to look very smooth. So on this one, I think that we could just delete this anchor point right here, and it's not going to it's not going to change the shape of our path very much, but it will look a little bit smoother. So let's try that. Yeah, well, it did change it a bit, but we can always go back and fix that. So if I hit the A key and go back to my direct selection tool, I can sort of go back here and drag these handles and adjust that again. Okay, so that's something that in order to fix this path, we would need to go around this entire shape. I mean, there's a lot of anchor points, and it would take a lot of fixing, and we could delete some of them. There's so many, we don't need them all. And then the problem we have is that there's some shapes underneath, paths below this, like shadows and things like that, that would also need to be adjusted or recreated or whatever. So for something like this, I'd probably just recreate it. I don't even think that it's worth trying to go through and just take the time to fix this whole thing. So one more time, what I'm going to show you is if I have the pen tool and I want to create a smoothly curving path, I'm going to go ahead and click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. All right, I'm dragging in the direction that I want my path to go. If I drag my handles out too far, then I end up with this sort of I can end up with sort of this kind of sawtooth or wavy pattern. So that is not what we want. We want this sort of a smooth, a smoother, smoothly curving path. All right, and we just need one anchor point, or we just need to set an anchor point wherever we want the path to change direction. There's really no need to overdo it with the anchor points. It just makes your path more complex than necessary.